A woman identified as Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed on Wednesday during a federal immigration enforcement operation in a residential area of South Minneapolis, an incident that has ignited protests, political fallout, and renewed scrutiny of immigration and customs enforcement operations in U.S. cities. Good, 37, was fatally wounded when an ICE agent opened fire as officers approached a vehicle in which she was seated. Federal authorities said the agent discharged his weapon after the vehicle moved in a way they described as posing an imminent threat to officers on the scene. The Department of Homeland Security has maintained that the shooting was an act of self-defense and that the officer acted in accordance with training and policy. That account has been sharply contested by family members, eyewitnesses, and local officials. Video circulating online shows the vehicle moving as agents converged, but critics argue the footage does not clearly support claims that Good was attempting to harm officers. Minneapolis city leaders have questioned the necessity and proportionality of lethal force, calling for a full and transparent investigation. Good was later identified by her mother, who described her as a devoted mother of three, a poet and writer, and a compassionate member of her community. Family members said she lived just blocks from where the shooting occurred and rejected suggestions that she was engaged in violent or confrontational behavior at the time. Friends and neighbors portrayed her as someone deeply connected to her family and local community, expressing shock at the circumstances of her death. The shooting prompted an immediate and emotional response across Minneapolis. Hundreds of people gathered near the scene within hours, holding vigils and demanding accountability. Protests continued into the evening and the following day, with demonstrators calling for ICE to withdraw from the city and for federal authorities to release all body camera and surveillance footage related to the incident. Similar vigils and demonstrations were reported in other cities, reflecting broader anger over federal immigration enforcement tactics. Political reactions have been swift and polarized. Federal officials, including senior figures in the administration, defended the ICE agents' actions and framed the incident as a necessary response to a perceived threat. In contrast, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey condemned the operation, saying it endangered residents and undermined public trust. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also expressed outrage and said state authorities would cooperate with an independent investigation. Multiple investigations are now underway, involving federal agencies as well as state law enforcement authorities. Civil rights organizations have called for independent oversight and warned that the case could become a defining moment in the national debate over the use of force by federal agents operating in local communities. As investigators work to establish a definitive account of what happened, the death of Renee Nicole Good has become a flashpoint in discussions about immigration enforcement, accountability, and the limits of federal power. Public demonstrations are expected to continue in the days ahead, as calls for justice and transparency grow louder.